Alright guys, let's talk about this movie and see if I can explain it properly without spoilers. Hi guys, it's Amanda here, your cutie of Carnage, here on another episode of Channel Sundown. As you can see, it's just me today. Unfortunately, Mr. Jess Koresh will not be able to join this review, and unfortunately, due to a lot of things going on, we are having kind of scheduling issues, but we love Jesse and we wish him nothing but the best. But today is just going to be me. Okay guys, today we are doing a film review. A very, well, no spoilers of course, but we're going to be talking about Color Out of Space. Color Out of Space. My favorite color is purple, but that being said, you guys know I always wear purple. Anywho, and if you guys see in the link below, we did a trailer reaction. I'll have that link below in the description if you guys care to see our trailer reaction. I have a lot to say about this film, but don't worry, I won't spoil anything. Just between me and you, us, I won't spoil anything, so I won't get into details, so don't worry. I got you. You can sit at my table. I won't give anything away. 2020 Color Out of Space is directed by Mr. Richard Stanley. Of course, everybody knows his infamous film, The Island of Dr. Monroe, which I have to say is my favorite bad horror film. You guys know, if you ever seen the documentary Lost Soul, The Doomed Journey of Richard Stanley's Island of Dr. Monroe, that documentary, if you guys haven't seen it, is the bee's knees. I'm just gonna say that documentary is hilarious. But anyways, I'm not gonna spoil that documentary. If you guys get a chance, watch that, check it out. Color Out of Space is another film that is produced by Spectravision. If you guys know Spectravision, that is the company Elijah Wood do. They produce a lot of good films. They did Mandy, they did Cooties, as well as one of my favorites, Daniel Isn't Real. The film Color Out of Space is actually adapted from an H.P. Lovecraft story called The Color Out of Space. They put the in there. And of course, starring Nicolas Cage as the father, Jolie Richardson, who plays the mother, Madeline Arthur, who plays the teenage daughter, and we cannot forget Tommy Chong, who plays the squatter. Yes, Cheech and Chong, Tommy Chong's in it. Yes, he plays the squatter. Of course he does. So the story is basically a family. A father, a mother, a girl, a teenage girl, and her little brother inherited some land. And they move out to the country and they're living in the woods. And when you start off in the film, the teenage daughter's out there doing her witch stuff, her witchcraft ritual. She's basically, what she's doing is she's trying to get some blessings from a higher being because her mother has cancer and is not doing too good. And her mother's getting treatments and surgery and everything. So she's trying to get some powers or some from a higher being. She's trying to reach from a higher being, and you kind of get to know the family, kind of see kind of what they're going through, what kind of, basically they're trying to grab each other together and give each other, you know, a very functional atmosphere within the dark doom that surrounds them, I guess. But they're having all this going on, so they're kind of grasp what they have, and they're trying to reestablish themselves as a family and as a unit. As you're kind of seeing the family kind of reconnecting, the husband and wife, you know, getting back together and kind of like reestablishing their relationship, a meteor hits. Boom. Hits, yeah, that's my meteor. Boom. That's when things get interesting and colorful. The younger brother, the young son, gets affected the most, and he starts kind of talking, seeing things, and things kind of get really interesting. The big thing about the movie is that when you're watching it, you kind of, with the meteor coming and stuff, you really don't know if you kind of connect the ritual to what's going on. But like I said, no spoilers. I'm not going to get into detail of what I think, but it gets very interesting, and just the up and down of the film of you not knowing what's going on is kind of what the movie is. So let's go into my pros and my cons without ruining anything, because I don't want to spoil anything for you guys. No spoilers. My first positive of the film is it is a very, very attractive film. And I say attractive in like my standpoint. If you're a horror fan, you're gonna love this film. It is very vintage feel. I know I've said that before. It's very, how do I say, the color atmosphere is very vintage. It felt very 80s. The title's called The Color Out of Space. So I'm probably going to be talking about color a lot. But the color is very taken in the scene. And it kind of captures the scene. And you kind of know what you're kind of grasping into when the layout is set and the color of the atmosphere. Yeah. So, yeah. There's that. My next positive is everybody says is Nick Cage is Nick Cage in this film. Like, he's not Mandy Nick Cage, but he's totally Nick Cage in this film. He's totally acting it out, getting there. Everything's gonna be okay. Like, it just, I love his role in this. And I know a lot of people give him the overacting card a lot. But there's times where you're kind of like, alright, kind of like, calm down, Nick Cage. But honestly, like, I love it. I love him. He's hilarious. It was very fitting. My next positive is going to be I loved the effects. The effects in the film were fantastic. They just jumped in there, and there were so many great practical effects. And like I said, I'm not going to go into spoilers or anything, but it was very, very eye-appealing. I mean, it's not, I want to say eye-appealing, but it was very interesting, and I was just like, oh shit, okay. And then there's that. And one of my other main positives is I'm going to go into Richard Stanley. Because, honestly, guys, if you have seen Lost Soul documentary, he has a lot of good ideas. And in the film, I was wishing that I was sad when his full vision of Island of Dr. Moreau wasn't foreseen, wasn't made, but I felt like this film he did do the full effect of Island of Dr. Moreau, but he kind of like, you could see his creative put into this film that I really appreciated in the film. So being that I watched that documentary and I seen this, it was very, how do I say, if I can get my words properly, it was very pleasing to see his chaos come to a box. Alright guys, now that I said my pros, here comes my cons. There's not many things I don't like about the film, but there's two main things that I kind of felt while watching the film. I was with my friend when I saw it, but I'm going to tell you something. The one thing that really frustrated me, and I didn't really like say it out loud because I don't want to talk because my friend was trying to watch it, but the atmosphere change was too much. And that being said, I'm saying that I loved the way the atmosphere was. One minute, Nick Cage is going crazy and stuff, and the next minute they're trying to be dramatic and serious. Felt like the 80s horror film was there, but then they tried to go for like a modern film. So it felt kind of oriented. It just didn't feel like it was keeping to the same trope as that like I thought it should be. But it wasn't like that dramatically through the whole film. It was just very, like I said, I'm not going to spoil it, but it was just certain parts. There's one part where something drastic happened and you were like, oh my god, and then there's a sad moment and you're kind of like, okay, well the sad moment wasn't played into the... Anyways, guys, the atmosphere kept going up and down after the main atmosphere was set of the film, and then they kind of like lowered it a little bit and highered it. It felt very out of place in some spots of the film. Okay, my main con is going to be, I'm not big into science fiction per se. I don't not like science fiction. I'm just not big into science fiction. And I felt that I didn't really, like, things were kind of up and down. One minute it was, science fiction, space, what have you. And then the next minute it was, like, creature feature. I didn't know what level I was getting at. It felt very, I don't know. It became one thing, and I was like, okay, and then it became a space. Like, it wouldn't stick. When I know what I'm getting into, I kind of go. So maybe maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people don't agree with me. Parts where I was just like, oh, it just felt very like, it was like creature feature versus, space odyssey kind of. No, I don't know how to explain it without spoiling things, but I can get into one detail particular. But this is a spoiler-free review, guys. I didn't feel like it was like a solid run. Here goes my verdict. My verdict of the film is going to be, I actually really, really like this film. I kind of got numbed to awful films, I think. That when I see something good, I'm like taking it like in pieces, and I'm like, well, it didn't have this and didn't have this. But no, it was great. It was a great film. It was interesting. Very interesting, guys. I'm just gonna say that it was very interesting. As discombobulated as it was, I felt, and the acting or not, it also grabbed my attention with how crazy it was, how up and down it was. It grabbed my attention, and the ending really kind of brought it not back fully, but it kind of ended at the point I'm glad where it ended. Things aren't always handed to you. I appreciate when things aren't just like, here, the end. I like it when things kind of, come to a thought, a understanding of sorts. If you've guys seen the film, you'll know what I'm talking about. Or I'm not making any sense. Either or, guys. I really, really like this movie. Alright, guys. Well, that concludes my Color Out of Space review. Have you guys seen it? Do you guys like it? Do you guys agree? Do you guys disagree? Do you think I'm wrong? Let me know. Comments below. Comment below. And you guys, do not forget, I seek approval. So do not forget to like, if I can point out it right. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Yes, I seek your approval, guys. And until next time, bye. Nobody else could have been in it but Nick Cage. Honestly, I think if any other actor would have played the father, I would have been like, no. But Nick Cage made it. He made it. Made it his own. Made it his own character, his own movie.